Imagine, you close your eyes, and the music doesn't just play, it breathes. The room dissolves, the air itself starts moving, and every note feels suspended between silence and infinity. That's the moment you realize, this isn't ordinary sound. This is what happens when a company that's been chasing purity for 60 years decides to build its most ambitious open back yet, the Audio-Technica ATH-ADX7000. What if air itself became the instrument? For decades, Audio-Technica has lived by one obsession: transparency without fatigue. From the legendary 80 series to the studio-grade R70X, their goal was never about volume. It was about space. Now, with the ADX7000, they claim to have reached a new level of openness. A magnesium frame, tungsten-coated drivers, and an airflow system so refined it blurs the line between headphone and loudspeaker. Today, we find out if that claim holds up, or if nostalgia is doing most of the talking. Lift them out of the case and the first thing you notice is the lightness. Just 265 grams. That's less than most mid-range closed backs. The entire body is made from magnesium alloy, chosen for strength and resonance control. The ear cups? A skeletal honeycomb structure, almost translucent, built to let air flow freely behind the driver. You don't see solid walls, you see breathing space. Slide them on and the pressure disappears. The 3D wing support system, something only Audio-Technica would still dare to use in 2025, feels like it's floating above your head, rather than gripping it. You don't wear them. They rest on you like a thought. It's classic Japanese engineering, minimal, deliberate, precise. Each ADX7000 is hand-assembled in Japan, and you can sense it. No creaks, no plastic sheen, just matte magnesium and carbon weave. Even the cable connectors are custom machined with micro-tolerances, because in Audio-Technica's mind, contact resistance matters as much as frequency response. That obsession goes back to 1962. Microphones, phono cartridges, and headphones that turned Japan into a reference sound nation. The ADX7000 is their new flagship of that lineage, the Air-Dynamic X generation. Inside each cup sits a 58mm tungsten-coated driver. That's massive, yet ultralight thanks to a diamond-like carbon layer and a lightweight bobbin coil. It's suspended in a magnetic circuit tuned for symmetrical airflow, so pressure behind the diaphragm is perfectly balanced. In simple terms, you get ultra-fast transients without the brittle edges, and low-end extension without artificial warmth. The frequency response extends from 5 Hz to 50 kHz. Of course, no human hears that. But what matters is what it implies: control, headroom, and stability, even at microscopic levels of sound. This isn't marketing. It's physics done with poetry. Plug them into a clean DAC, close your eyes. First track, Miles Davis, So What? You don't just hear the trumpet, you see it, 3 feet forward, angled slightly left. The bass slides in gently, upright, not bloated. The cymbals shimmer, but never sting. There's no veil, no compression, just air. Switch to Daft Punk's Contact. When that sub-bass hits, it's quick, tight, but never invades the mids. The soundstage stretches wide and deep, yet never loses focus. It's like standing inside a perfectly treated studio, surrounded by silence that's alive. If I had to summarize the ADX7000's tuning in 3 words: airy, articulate, balanced. The bass is clean and disciplined, not chest-punching, but perfectly weighted. Mids are where it truly shines, natural, honest, and textured. Vocals sit right in front of you, not on top of you. Treble extends effortlessly, giving detail without grit. There's sparkle, not glare. Resolution without exaggeration. This is the kind of tuning that doesn't demand attention. It earns it. You could listen for hours without fatigue, and that's the hallmark of great engineering. The secret isn't just the driver, it's the airflow. Most open backs use dampers or foam to control resonance. The ADX7000 instead relies on a natural damping system where the honeycomb frame lets sound pressure disperse symmetrically. That means fewer internal reflections, fewer peaks, smoother response. You're not just hearing detail, you're hearing the absence of distortion. Silence becomes part of the music. That's why they call it the Air-Dynamic X. It's not a gimmick, it's the heart of its identity. Comfort is what makes these headphones disappear. Those deep Alcantara-style pads are breathable, plush, and replaceable. Even after 3-hour listening sessions, there's no hot spot, no heat buildup. And because they're open, your ears never sweat, just pure, effortless wear. The double-sided detachable cable uses A2DC connectors, Audio-Technica's proprietary twist lock system. They're sturdy but flexible, and the cable's impedance is tuned for minimal interference. It's a small thing, but when you're dealing with microvolt signals, small things become big truths. Everything about these feels like they were designed by people who actually listen. Now, let's talk Soundstage. This is where the ADX7000 earns its crown. It's not artificially wide, it's geometrically accurate. Instruments don't float randomly. They anchor themselves in space. The imaging precision rivals planar headphones twice its price, but with the organic flow of a dynamic driver. When a snare hits, you sense the air compress. When a guitar pans, it's not just left-right, it's forward-backward. That 3D illusion is addictive. And once you get used to it, most other headphones sound like cardboard cutouts. With a 38-ohm impedance and 100 dB sensitivity, they're easy to drive, but they scale beautifully. Plugged straight into a portable DAC, they already sound clean. Feed them from a Class A amp or a balanced desktop chain, and the headroom expands dramatically. Low noise floor, endless dynamics, zero strain. They don't demand exotic gear, but they reward it. That's rare. Let's place the ADX7000 where it belongs, in the rare air of flagships that don't just play music, they interpret it. Because at this level, specs stop being the story. It's about personality, philosophy, and how each brand defines truth in sound. Sennheiser HD800S, the benchmark for spaciousness and surgical imaging, like standing in a cathedral of sound. It gives you vastness and sparkle, but sometimes at the cost of warmth. The ADX7000 trades that sheer scale for proportion and realism, painting with air instead of light. Focal Clear MG, the French master of musicality, rich, tactile, and intimate, like a live jazz set at midnight. It leans warm and emotional, wrapping you in copper-toned sound. The ADX7000 feels more neutral and airy, letting the recording speak instead of the headphone. HiFiMAN Arya Organic, planar precision at its best, huge stage, microscopic detail, and endless transparency. Yet it can sound clinical, more analyzer than storyteller. The ADX7000 feels more human, capturing the breadth and nuance that make performances real. Audeze LCD-X 2021. Dense, muscular, and thunderous, built for studio engineers who live for low-end power. Its weight, both sonic and physical, commands attention. The ADX7000 answers with feather-light speed, faster decay, and effortless comfort. Focal Utopia 2022. Visceral and luxurious, a dynamic driver that delivers metallic speed and velvet mids. But its forward energy can wear you down over time. The ADX7000 is gentler, measured, balanced, and endlessly listenable. Meze Empyrean II. Romantic, lush, and sculpted for comfort. A headphone that seduces as much as it entertains. Its tuning glows with warmth and beauty. The ADX7000 is its minimalist counterpart, precise, disciplined, and pure function over flourish. Beyerdynamic DT1990. Pro, a studio workhorse, sharp, detailed, and analytical to the core. It excels at exposing flaws but can be fatiguing outside the booth. The ADX7000 turns that discipline into pleasure, the headphone you reach for after the mix is done. Audio-Technica ATH-ADX7000, the honest baseline of neutrality. Light, open, and affordable. It shares the same DNA but without the refinement or depth. The ADX7000 feels like its evolution. The R70X is the apprentice, the ADX7000 the master. Put simply, HD800S, fastness and sparkle. Focal Clear MG, warmth and immediacy. HiFiMAN, Arya Organic, transparency and scale. Audeze LCD-X, density and impact. ADX7000, balance, breadth, and human realism. The ADX7000 doesn't dominate the competition, it diffuses it. It's not trying to be louder, wider, or warmer. It proves that neutrality can still have soul, and that accuracy can still move you. When you rotate through its rivals, the ADX7000 feels like home, the meeting point between art and engineering. And every time you take them off, the world sounds a little flatter, a little less alive. Classical? Sublime. Strings shimmer without harshness, and the hall reverb feels infinite. Jazz? Effortlessly intimate. Vocals, especially female, sound hauntingly alive. Rock and metal? Controlled, textured, not bloated. Electronic? Surprisingly capable. Tight bass, expansive synth layers, and speed that keeps up with modern production. This isn't a headphone limited by genre. It's limited only by your source quality. Picture this, it's late night. The lights are low. You're editing, writing, or just thinking. You press play, and the ADX7000 turns your desk into a concert hall. You hear micro details, the finger sliding across strings, the soft inhale before a vocal line. It's not loud. It's alive. This isn't the headphone you wear while running errands. It's the one you wear when you want time to stop. Audio-Technica has always chased one thing: honesty through simplicity. The ADX7000 embodies that. No ANC, no wireless, no companion app. Just physics and craft working in harmony. In a world obsessed with convenience, this headphone feels rebellious. It asks you to sit down to listen, really listen. And when you do, it rewards you with the kind of truth that numbers can't describe. Strengths: feather-light comfort and build. Airy, natural tonality with exceptional imaging. Massive dynamic driver speed and control. Superb scalability with high-end amps. Handmade precision and premium materials. Considerations: open back design means zero isolation. Bass lovers might find it too restrained. Demands high-quality recordings, bad mixes sound bad. At roughly $499, it's an investment, but when you buy a flagship like this, you're not buying specs, you're buying craftsmanship philosophy. So what's the verdict? The ATH-ADX7000 isn't about reinventing sound, it's about refining truth. It delivers clarity that feels organic, not surgical. It bridges emotion and engineering the way few dynamic headphones do. It's the culmination of everything Audio-Technica learned about air, lightness, and tone. For critical listening, for immersive music nights, for audiophiles who want purity without pain, this is one of the most compelling open backs of its time. Not flashy, not hyped, just real. So imagine again, you're sitting alone, a record spinning softly, and the room fades into sound. It's not the gear you notice, it's the feeling. That's what great headphones do. They disappear and leave only music. The ADX7000 doesn't try to impress you. It tries to disappear so the song can speak. So, what's your take? Would you trade isolation for air? Would you choose detail over bass weight, craftsmanship over convenience? Drop your thoughts below. I read every comment. If this deep dive helped you, hit that like button. It helps the channel more than you think. Subscribe for the next one, where we pit this against the HD800S and see which truly owns the air. Until then, listen carefully. Listen deeply.